Lovely viewers, this moment will truly melt your hearts, because what happened between Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho recently is nothing short of magical. After months of anticipation, love and patience, Hye Kyo finally witnessed the heartwarming moment every mother dreams of, seeing the man she loves hold their newborn baby for the very first time. And trust me, her emotional reaction had everyone in tears, including those lucky enough to be close to the couple. It all started quietly in their Seoul home, away from the media and the flashing cameras. Lee Min-ho, who had been pacing nervously all morning, finally got the chance to hold his baby in his arms after the doctors and nurses ensured everything was safe and ready. According to sources close to the couple, the moment he took the tiny bundle into his hands, time seemed to stop. His eyes softened, his usual confident expression faded, and for a split second, even Lee Min-ho, the superstar loved by millions, looked like a completely different man, a father seeing his child for the very first time. Hye Kyo, sitting beside the bed, was already emotional. She had been through so much, from her journey of love, heartbreak, rediscovery, and now motherhood, that seeing this moment unfold before her eyes felt almost unreal. As Lee Min-ho gently cradled the baby, whispering something softly under his breath, tears welled up in her eyes. She tried to hold them back, but they streamed down her face as she smiled. Not just a simple smile, but one filled with relief, pride, and pure love. Those who witnessed the scene said it was the most beautiful thing they had ever seen. One insider described the scene perfectly. Hye Kyo couldn't stop staring at them. You could see the mix of emotions in her face. The realization that the man she loves is now the father of her child. It was an overwhelming wave of happiness that words can't fully capture. Lee Min-ho, noticing her tears, looked up, smiled tenderly and whispered, "We did it, Hye Kyo. Our little miracle." That was the moment that broke her completely. She reached for his hand and whispered back, "Thank you for giving me this life." It wasn't just a romantic moment. It was a moment of completion, as though every step they had taken, every challenge they had faced, led to that exact instant. Lovely viewers, can you imagine how emotional that must have been? After all the ups and downs, after the years of public scrutiny and the endless stories written about them, seeing Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo in that intimate moment made fans believe in love all over again. Their story has been one that millions have followed with admiration and hope. But this was something deeper. This wasn't about fame or cameras. This was about two people standing at the crossroads of destiny, holding in their hands the result of their love. The nurses and staff present that day reportedly couldn't stop talking about how gentle Lee Min-ho was with the baby. Despite his global superstar status, he acted like any other first-time dad, nervous, emotional, and incredibly tender. He kept repeating, "I can't believe she's ours." The way he looked at the baby, his eyes full of awe and wonder, made Hye Kyo fall even deeper in love. One nurse even mentioned that he asked for extra time before the baby was taken back to the nursery because he just wanted to memorize every tiny feature. Hye Kyo's emotional reaction didn't stop there. Later that evening, when the baby was sleeping in the nursery and the room grew quiet, she reportedly told a close friend that watching Min-ho hold their child was the most moving moment of her life. She said it made her realize how far they'd both come, from being two stars with separate lives to becoming parents who now shared a single heartbeat. "When I saw him hold our baby, I saw my entire future in that moment," she said tearfully. Those words alone sent waves of emotion across her fans when the story leaked through close insiders. And of course, once the story reached social media, fans couldn't hold back. The internet exploded with joy, tears, and endless love for the couple. Comments flooded in from around the world. One fan wrote, "Hye Kyo deserves this happiness. Seeing her cry while watching Lee Min-ho hold their baby just feels like the ending we all prayed for." Another said, "Lee Min-ho holding his baby for the first time. That's not just a scene, that's poetry in real life." What made this moment even more special was how private yet powerful it was. Unlike many celebrity parents who rushed to share baby photos, Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo decided to keep things sacred for a while. They didn't post pictures or make announcements. Instead, they chose to live in the moment, cherishing every breath, every cry, every heartbeat. That decision, fans said, made the story even more beautiful because it showed that they were prioritizing love over publicity. As the days went by, Lee Min-ho was seen taking on full dad mode. Insiders revealed that he wouldn't let anyone else hold the baby for too long, constantly checking to make sure everything was perfect. Song Hye Kyo, watching from her bed, often laughed softly at how protective he was. "He's already acting like a father who's fallen completely in love with his baby," she said with amusement. But behind that laughter was deep emotion. She admitted that every time she saw him like that, her heart swelled with pride. Lovely viewers, you could say that moment changed everything for them. Lee Min-ho, who had always been known for his charm and strength on screen, now showed the world a softer, more intimate side. The side of a man who had found his greatest role yet, being a father. And for Song Hye Kyo, it was like a healing moment, all the pieces of her heart finally coming together. She reportedly said later, "Seeing him hold our child made me believe that love, when it's real, never fades. It just evolves." That single statement sent waves across fan communities. Many said that it captured the very essence of their love story. Two people who had been through so much, yet still found their way to something pure and everlasting. Fans began creating edits, tributes, and fan art depicting the emotional moment of Lee Min-ho holding their baby for the first time. Hashtags like #MinHyoFamily, #FirstHoldMoment, and #LoveInTheirEyes started trending globally within hours. And if you think that's where the emotion ends, think again. According to a close family friend, the couple now refers to their baby as their living love story. Every time Lee Min-ho looks at his child, he reportedly says, "This is the best scene I'll ever live in." Song Hye Kyo, upon hearing those words, always tears up because she knows it's true. Their love has now taken a new form, one that breathes, cries, and laughs with them. What followed in the days after that magical moment was a whirlwind of laughter, sleepless nights, tears of joy, and quiet realizations that would forever change the way they saw each other. Those close to the couple revealed that the first night home with their baby was one of the most emotional yet heartwarming experiences of their lives. Lee Min-ho barely slept, constantly getting up to check on the baby's breathing, softly patting their tiny chest to make sure everything was okay. Song Hye Kyo, though exhausted, couldn't help but smile every time she saw him fuss over the baby. She once joked, "He's the nervous one, not me. It's so sweet to see him like this." That moment reminded her of how deeply Min-ho had longed for this, to be a father, a protector, and a man who could give his love without holding back. At one point during the night, when the baby finally drifted to sleep, Hye Kyo reportedly found herself just staring at Lee Min-ho as he gently rocked the cradle. His face was calm, peaceful, and full of devotion. That sight brought fresh tears to her eyes, not from sadness, but from overwhelming gratitude. She later told a close friend, "When I saw him there, whispering to our baby, I realized that everything I had ever gone through, every heartbreak, every challenge, was leading me here. This was the moment that made it all worth it." And lovely viewers, who wouldn't be moved by words like that? The woman who once stood alone, rebuilding herself after public heartbreaks, was now surrounded by the purest form of love, a man who adored her and a child who symbolized their shared destiny. Fans say it's like watching a real-life drama, except this time there are no scripts, no cameras, and no rehearsals, just raw emotion and genuine connection. As the days went by, Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's bond grew even stronger. People close to them said that the experience of becoming parents brought a new level of intimacy and teamwork into their relationship. They started doing everything together. Feeding time, diaper changes, even lullabies. It's said that Lee Min-ho, despite his busy schedule, refused to hire a full-time nanny at first because he wanted to experience every little detail of fatherhood himself. "I don't want to miss a single thing," he told his manager. "I want to be the one who learns what every cry means." And he truly did. One touching detail revealed that Lee Min-ho had learned how to hum lullabies for the baby, and every time he did, the little one would instantly calm down. Song Hye Kyo often watched from beside him, her heart swelling with love and admiration. She confessed that seeing Lee Min-ho in that role made her fall in love all over again, but in a deeper, quieter way. She described it as, A love that doesn't shout, but whispers through every action. Lovely viewers, can you imagine how beautiful that must have been? To see the same man who's known for his confidence and charisma on screen now singing softly to his baby. His voice trembling slightly with emotion. It's the kind of moment that melts hearts and stays forever etched in memory. One evening, Hye Kyo decided to capture a small part of this new life in a private journal. In it, she reportedly wrote a note addressed to her baby that said, "Your father's love is the kind that teaches me what peace really feels like." Those words, shared later by someone close to her, went viral among fans who couldn't stop crying at the pure affection they held. Many said it was a reminder that real love is not about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's about finding beauty in the everyday, in the quiet moments that only two hearts can understand. And speaking of quiet moments, there was one particular afternoon that left everyone around them speechless. Lee Min-ho came home from a short shoot and found Hye Kyo sitting by the window, holding their baby. The sunlight touched her hair. The baby was sleeping soundly, and everything felt peaceful. He stood there for a moment, just taking it all in, before walking over and wrapping his arms around both of them. Hye Kyo leaned into him, tears filling her eyes once again. She whispered, "I never knew happiness could be this simple." Lee Min-ho smiled and replied, "That's because this time it's real." That simple exchange became one of the most talked about moments when insiders shared it. Fans described it as the most cinematic yet real thing ever. One fan commented, "Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo's love story has turned into a masterpiece, not of drama but of real life." Another added, "When a man looks at his family like that, you know it's love in its purest form." Lovely viewers, it's not hard to see why this story continues to touch millions. It's not just about celebrity glamour or perfect pictures. It's about the human side of love, the kind that transforms two people into something greater than themselves. For Hye Kyo, seeing Lee Min-ho hold their baby wasn't just an emotional moment. It was the moment that redefined her idea of love. For Lee Min-ho, it was a realization that all the fame and success in the world mean nothing compared to holding a piece of his heart in his arms. As weeks turned into months, those who visited the couple say their home is now filled with laughter, warmth, and quiet joy. Hye Kyo is said to often smile to herself, especially when she hears Min-ho talking softly to their baby. And whenever someone asks her about motherhood, she reportedly replies, "It's the most beautiful role I've ever had, and he makes it even more special." Lovely viewers, isn't that the kind of love we all dream of? A love that grows stronger with every shared breath, that finds new meaning through family, and that proves that happiness doesn't come from perfection, but from togetherness. Hye Kyo's emotional reaction to seeing Lee Min-ho hold their baby for the first time wasn't just a moment in time. It was the beginning of forever for them. So tell me, lovely viewers, can you feel the emotion in this story? Can you picture that exact instant when her tears fell? Not from sorrow but from love so pure it overwhelmed her? Do you believe that when two people are truly destined, life has a way of bringing them moments that heal everything? Because in that one scene, with Lee Min-ho cradling their baby and Hye Kyo watching with tearful joy, love found its truest form. Hye Kyo later revealed in a quiet conversation with a close friend that in that instant, she felt like she was watching destiny unfold right before her eyes. She said, "It wasn't just Lee Min-ho holding our child. It was my heart, my past, my present, and my future all in one frame." From that day on, their bond as parents grew even more sacred. Lee Min-ho took on his new role with a kind of grace and tenderness that stunned everyone around him. He wasn't just a loving husband anymore. He became the kind of father who set the standard for love and responsibility. Every morning, he'd wake up before Hye Kyo just to make sure everything was ready. The baby's milk, the blanket, the temperature in the nursery. Sometimes he'd quietly sing to the baby while Hye Kyo watched from the doorway. Her hand pressed over her mouth, trying to hold back tears. One of their closest friends later shared that Hye Kyo once said, "Every time I see him with our baby, it's like falling in love all over again. He's not just my husband anymore. He's the father of my child, the man who holds both of our hearts." That single quote spread like wildfire among fans online, melting the hearts of millions who couldn't stop gushing over how pure and genuine their love had become. But it wasn't just emotional tenderness that defined that period. It was also the little, unplanned moments that made their bond even stronger. There was one particular morning when Lee Min-ho was preparing breakfast while Hye Kyo fed their baby. He accidentally spilled milk on the counter, and instead of getting frustrated, he started laughing. Hye Kyo laughed too, and their baby, sensing the joy, giggled for the first time. That simple sound filled the room, and both of them stopped, just staring at their baby with tears in their eyes. It was the baby's first laugh, and it came in a moment of pure, imperfect love. Lovely viewers, can you imagine that? The sound of a baby's laughter becoming the background music of their lives. It's something that feels almost cinematic, yet so incredibly real. From that day, they decided to cherish every single imperfection, every messy moment, every sleepless night, because those were the pieces that made their family whole. As days went by, Lee Min-ho's protective instincts only grew stronger. He became that dad who would check the baby monitor even when the baby was perfectly fine. He'd gently touch their forehead to make sure they weren't too warm, or carefully hold their tiny hands while humming soft lullabies. Song Hye Kyo found herself documenting these quiet moments, not for the world but for herself. She'd often replay those videos at night when Lee Min-ho and the baby were asleep, smiling through tears as she whispered, "This is my forever." There was also a particularly emotional evening when the couple had just put their baby to bed. The house was quiet except for the soft hum of the baby monitor. Hye Kyo leaned on Lee Min-ho's shoulder and whispered, "You've changed my whole world." Lee Min-ho looked at her with the gentlest smile and said, "No, you gave me a world worth living in." The silence that followed was filled with love so strong it didn't need words. Lovely viewers, it's moments like this that make fans believe that some love stories are written by fate itself. Both Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo have been through public scrutiny, heartbreaks, and the chaos of fame, but seeing them now, grounded, calm, and full of purpose, feels like watching two souls finally come home. Their baby, according to insiders, has become the heart of everything they do. Friends say that Lee Min-ho schedules his projects around family time now, refusing to miss key moments in their child's growth. Song Hye Kyo, on the other hand, has found a new kind of joy that reflects in her every smile and appearance. Fans who've spotted her recently describe her as glowing, with a warmth that seems to radiate from within. And every time Lee Min-ho steps out, he never misses a chance to talk about how fatherhood changed him. He once said privately, "The moment I held my child, something in me softened forever. I finally understood what it means to love someone without conditions." Hearing those words, Hye Kyo reportedly teared up again, later telling friends, "It's like he's always saying the right things at the right time. He doesn't even try, he just feels." Lovely viewers, don't you agree that this kind of emotional connection is rare? The way they look at each other, the way they share quiet laughter, and the way they move in sync as parents, it all speaks of a bond that time, fame, or distance can never break. And the public feels it too. Fans continue to flood social media with edits, tributes, and fan art celebrating their love story, not just as celebrities, but as two humans who found peace in each other's arms. It's heartwarming to know that behind all the flashing cameras and endless schedules, there's this version of Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo, soft-spoken, genuine, and devoted. Their home has become a sanctuary of love, where laughter and lullabies fill the air. Every evening as the sun sets, they take turns rocking their baby to sleep, whispering stories about hope, dreams, and love. And sometimes when the baby finally drifts off, Lee Min-ho will look at Song Hye Kyo and softly say, "This is everything I ever wanted." She'll smile, brushing a strand of hair from her face, and reply, "It's everything I never thought I'd have." Lovely viewers, that's the magic of their story. Two hearts once walking different paths, now united by the most beautiful gift of all. Their journey reminds us that love isn't just about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's about holding each other close through every joy, every challenge, and every new beginning. So, as they continue to embrace this new chapter, one thing is certain: That moment when Song Hye Kyo saw Lee Min-ho holding their baby for the first time wasn't the end of a story. It was the start of a love that will only grow deeper with time. And who knows, lovely viewers? Maybe someday they'll share that story with the world. Not as celebrities, but as two people who found forever in the arms of love and family.